Hi guys, happy Monday. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to part 2 of Where Are They Now? In part 2, we're going to continue looking at the plants whenever I first got them, or around the time that I first got them versus now, to see all their growth and what they look like now. I have a lot of my larger ones that have grown the most, so that I'm going to be sharing with you. We're actually going to get up and go kind of because they're too big for me to hold in front of the camera, some of them. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. This one, I'm gonna have to search a little bit further to find the actual purchase date, but I want to say 2019 I got my Albo Singonium. Could have been 2020. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go take a look, which it looked good, pretty good whenever I got it. These plants are so resilient. However, they do have a tendency to get a little bit leggy, like all Singoniums do. I mean, they're vines. They're the arrowhead vine, so they will eventually vine. Really have to prune and kind of chop back regularly. Most Singoniums, if you don't want them to just be like one long flopped over vine. So this plant has been chopped many times. I've taken just the cuttings, rooted them in water, potted them back up, probably more times than I could count. I feel like that just goes along with owning this plant. So, but here she is today. I have this trellis down in here. I think it's cute in her pink little ceramic. It's adorable. I think she looks pretty good. Like right now, I'm really happy with the way my Albo is growing. Yeah, this is one of my OGs. Anything from like 2019 to, well, my first houseplant, which we're going to take a look at also, I got in 2017, I believe. But anything from basically 2019 to 2021, I consider the beginning. I was still very much a beginner plant parent. So those, are very near and dear to my heart. Those plants are. Looks really good right now. It's nice and full and bushy, not just like growing straight up or vining too much. Eventually, I will have to chop it again. I keep attaching it, so it has a little ways left to go, I suppose. We have this new little cutesy vine down here that I'll eventually kind of attach. But yeah, once it gets too tall, I'll go ahead and chop it and then propagate those. And then when I go to up pot it, I'll stick them back in the pot so we can keep this lush, bushy effect. But yeah, she's beautiful. She's lovely, super easy. You can't go wrong with a good Albo Singonium. It's like a staple piece in every plant collector, especially from the 2020-ish era, from that time. So I have really good genetics, or at least mine do. And I've also gifted, traded, swapped, you name it, so many cuttings of this plant. So there's so many planty people out there that have a piece of this. So that's really special as well. Isn't she lovely? Look at her beautiful variegation. Just stunning, stunning, gorgeous. Okay, let's do another pendant and Theium. Now he does have a yellow leaf. I didn't bother to remove that. Sorry. So I couldn't find an exact date of when I got this. I'm pretty sure there's an unboxing on my channel, but I can't go through all of my videos. Like if I have an idea, I'll skim through the video, but I didn't. So the photo I'm currently looking at is from 2022, and that sounds right to me. I would say I got this probably like spring 2022, so a little over 3 years with me. Just to be totally honest with you, this plant did not grow for me for the longest time, and it's a slow grower. In comparison to my Pallidiflorum, it is a very slow grower. I thought there was something wrong, or I was doing something wrong, and perhaps I was for the longest time, because it just wouldn't grow. It just kind of chilled, and it looked pretty, but it just didn't do anything. And the leaves were much shorter than this because I got it as a very juvenile plant. So they weren't even this long, and it's not like super long. I was really impressed with this leaf. Oh no, this leaf, this little spiral guy, because it's kind of the longest one on the plant. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's much happier now, and it's doing a lot better. It's still not the fastest grower ever. But as you can see here, it only had a couple of leaves. And like I said, they were pretty short. It just wasn't that impressive for the longest period of time. But it is very easy. It is very easy going, and I haven't really had any issues with it. It hasn't lost very many leaves. This is actually a shock to me because it quite literally never yellows leaves. It just doesn't. But we do have a new leaf coming in right here. Look at this little cutie. It's still rolled up. It hasn't unfurled yet, but I am quite excited to see how large this newest leaf is going to get. I'm just noticing the reason that leaf is yellow is because the stem is broken, actually. I didn't realize that. So that makes sense, yeah, because it never yellows leaves like that on me. I'm like, what the heck? And there's something coming out right here. There's something else coming out right here. I don't know if that's going to be a flower. Is that going to be an inflow? I'm assuming that's what it is because I don't know why it would put off another leaf in that exact spot. Yeah, I'm not sure. But here's how he's doing. He's doing good. He has grown quite a lot for me considering his slow growth. You know, I'll take it. I'll take all the leaves that I've gotten. And he's sized up a bit. So the last newest leaf, I suppose, was right here. This super curly one. Oh my gosh. That one is like, yeah. His last couple of leaves, he's just kind of put a little twist in them. Very interesting, but I like it. I think it's very quirky, and it gives him a little extra character and pizzazz, so I'm not mad at it. What's next? I feel like there's a glare. There's a glare on my glasses. This guy. So we have another OG over here. This was in 2019 when I got this. I have unboxing footage, I'm pretty sure. This guy has been a prized plant for me. This is Philodendron pastazanum. I was so happy whenever I got this. I ordered it off Etsy, I believe. Like I said, 2019, and it was just a little tiny guy. So small, so short and stubby. I think it had 2 little round, chubby heart-shaped leaves. The cutest thing ever. And this is when I was just getting into more uncommon aroids and phyllos. This plant immediately started sizing up for me. I mean, within like 6 months, it was this big plant with these giant, pillowy, fluffy, heart-shaped leaves. Just the cutest thing ever. However, we've had some struggles. This plant has always been super duper easy. It's been super easy, like I said, super fast growing. It has always been slightly susceptible to spider mites. I don't know, about, I guess, 2 years ago, I started to notice a decline in this guy. The spider mites were really affecting him, whereas they didn't really used to as much. And it died back. This big, massive, beautiful plant. I'm going to insert more photos over the years as it got larger, and then up to just a couple years ago before it started to decline and lose leaves. Yeah, I don't know. It was really not well. So I ended up cutting it. I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago. I ended up cutting the chunk off. The roots died, and I cut a chunk and I put it in a plastic bag and rooted it in moss. And this is it. But it should be a lot bigger and better by now. For whatever reason, it just keeps getting spider mites and setting itself back. It tries to put off new leaves like it's trying to be its old self, its normal self, and put off new leaves back to back to back. But what keeps happening is this, and I'm treating it like really constant, treating the new leaves as they're coming in, and still this is happening with the new leaves where they're not able to fully open up. There's 3 new leaves right now doing this, and there's 2 more growth points down there that will soon come up and try to do the same thing. And then this is what my gloriosum would always do with the new leaves. Tragic. I've removed so many new leaves due to this already, and it just keeps happening. And like I said, I've really been on the treatment, and so this leaf isn't brown, and it's really, really trying. It's trying so hard, but it's just not okay. And then we have this leaf right here. I mean, so I don't know what to do, but because this is, you know, this plant has been with me for so long and it's been a favorite of mine for so long, I just can't see myself giving up on it. It's just been really sick and struggling for a good while. And, you know, it's really hard whenever I've had some of these plants for so long for that reason. It's hard for me to let them go because I have lost a lot of plants, you guys, a lot. I had a plant shopping addiction for several years. I absolutely did. And so there's a lot of plants that I got that, they died. I've learned my lesson, okay? I don't order and buy plants like crazy anymore. But someone with ADHD, it really had a hold on me. I mean, it just brought me so much joy. So, anyway, the plants that I do still have that I've had since almost the beginning or since the beginning of my plant collecting, yeah, they just hold a really special place in my heart. And it's devastating to me, the thought of losing the ones that I have. So, okay, let's go ahead and do Big Al. This one is very special because this was my first ever houseplant. Not first ever houseplant. I've had houseplants since I was a little girl. Like my grandma would buy me little succulents and stuff to keep in my window. They would always die though. And I would try like once a year to get a houseplant. And I was always fascinated with the idea of having a living plant to keep alive and take care of. And my mom had plants. My grandma always had plants. She still has plants, loves them, indoor and outdoor. But I never developed my green thumb until I got this plant. And it was like in a little $4 pot at Lowe's, just a teeny tiny little start of aloe vera. And I got it in a very difficult time of my life, in Cincinnati, Ohio. We moved there for about 6 weeks. Very stupid decision. Very traumatic experience. And I was just like so depressed and stressed out. And I don't know, we were there for something else. And I was like, I want this aloe plant. And my mom always used aloe when I was a kid for like scrapes and burns and things like that. So I was like, it's functional as well. So I bought it over the next 2 years. Well, over the next year, I would keep it alive, basically, without really trying too much. I kept it alive and it moved with us. And I was like, So at that point, I went ahead and got a cactus. It was one of those god awful grafted moon cacti, the red ones. And yeah, I got that one. So I had my aloe, and I got that one in 2018, I believe. I had my aloe and my moon cactus. And then in like the fall of 2018, I believe, I was like, wow, I've kept these 2 plants alive. So I'm going to get more houseplants. And my husband went off to the pipeline. So I went out and got like a pothos and some lucky bamboo and heartleaf philodendron. And, I started adding these plants to my collection. And I think it was like right after I started my YouTube channel and I lost the grafted moon cacti will always die. They cannot survive. So they can only survive for so long. That's all that to say, my aloe vera plant is what led me into the crazy plant person that I am today. So let's take a look at Big Al. And he would be a lot bigger. I'm going to tell you about that. We had a setback. So this is actually one of Big Al's pups that I had to save off of him because I killed him. I sunburnt him. Almost lost him. Okay. So anyway, he was just called Al, the aloe. And yeah, he got massive. After I realized I could keep plants alive, I really started like giving the best care to him. And he, within like a year, got huge, like humongous, and gave me a bunch of babies. And then he became Big Al. But whenever we moved into our last home, like 4 years ago, I guess, I thought he would enjoy being out in the direct sun outside, and it was very intense hot sun. So I set him on my back steps for only like maybe 4 hours. And whenever I went to check on him, he was completely burnt up, like brown, yellow all over. It was really, really bad. Yeah, he was just like mush. He was done. He was dead. I tried to save him, and there was just no saving him. He was like twice this size, probably. There was no saving him. But I did manage to be able to save a piece of him, a baby off of him that was kind of hidden. And it was a tiny baby too, you guys. Like, I was nervous because I have a lot of faith that the baby was even mature enough to be removed from the mother. So, or the father in this case. So I was just crossing my fingers. Okay, I took this teeny tiny little baby. I rooted it up in moss. And I remember like 2 years ago, I went to transplant it into soil, and like right after we moved here, and it like started to decline. I was like, oh no. So I had to take it back out, put it back in moss. And then just like last year, I think I finally was able to go ahead and move it to soil again. And it took this time. it took this time and it's been growing well ever since. So we was on a struggle bus for a couple of years. I was freaking out because I know it's just an aloe plant, like I was saying about the pastasanum, but this plant means so much to me because it was my first house plant, because of the circumstances whenever I purchased it, because it's what led me to create this amazing jungle that I have now in my home. It's just so special. So yeah, we have new pups coming in everywhere. I mean, he's looking really, really good. He's looking like himself again. And I'm so happy that I was able to save it. I'm like, what in the world is going on? So I do need to pot him again. Look at all these babies coming out everywhere. I mean, there's just babies galore in this pot. Galore. Look at all of them. He's a special plant. I don't use him for medicine, you know. I don't want him to look ugly and have all these broken stems, leaves, and such. So I'm going to take one of his babies to use just for that and let him stay in one piece, if you will. But my first ever house plant, 2017, I got this plant, and yeah, he's still with me. All right, now we have philodendron Campi or Campii. I believe, based on the photos I found, that I got this plant in 2022. So we're going around 3 years. He was beautiful then. He's beautiful now. I also rotted the roots on this guy, doing like a peroxide soak on the roots. I don't even remember why I did that at this point, but I did. And rotted the roots, almost lost him, had to reroot him. Okay, so I'm going to put up whatever photos and such that I have of him. He was still a good size even then, though, like he was. But, and that's just with a lot of plants, like, you know, you'll have setbacks, you'll have to start them over, reroot them, cut them back, what have you. That's just a part of plant collecting. So this is my philodendron Campii now. This is his new leaf. I love this plant. It is just one of the most unique philodendron that I have. I just think it is so cool. The leaf shape itself is really nice, but my favorite thing about the plant, aside from the leaf shape, is this intense rippling. That right there sets him apart from everyone else, even my like pendant and Theiums and stuff. He's just so different and I love him. So here's how he's doing. He's doing pretty good. He has been struggling with mites this past year as well. So we've had some setbacks, but all in all, he's a happy guy. The leaves are getting larger and larger again. So I would take it. These leaves have the potential of getting like massive. So it's pretty cool. This leaf right here is pretty good size. Like, yeah. These leaves do, however, get severely dusty. Oh my gosh, they collect dust like nobody's business. All right, I do have some others I could show you that I've had since like 2019. Yeah, like my white butterfly Singonium, but it's not doing too well. I mean, it's died back. It's struggled. It's been neglected, and so there's one vine left, small vine, I'm about to chop and just start it over and throw the roots away, put it in water and get it going again. That was one from the very beginning, from like the fall to winter of 2018. So like just maybe 6 months or so before I started my YouTube channel. I do still have it, but it just doesn't look that great. And then my Marantas that I've had for around the same time, they're kind of rehabbing right now, so I just don't want to show them, you know, but I do still have them along with my Hoya pubicalyx, Opie, my Hoya obovata, which is beautiful. I love him. My painted lady philodendron up there, but I've got too many big good ones and I can't fit all of these. I'm not doing 3 parts, okay? I'm not doing it. So we're just gonna stick with what the most important ones. Not important, but the ones I feel you guys would enjoy to see the most, basically, more or less. All right, so my Thai constellation. I got my philodendron Thai constellation as a little tiny baby in 2019 or 2020. The date will be on the screen. These were so expensive around this time, and I wanted one so badly. I ended up importing this guy. I mean, they were like $1,000 or something crazy, or like $500 for a little single leaf cutting, low variegation. It was insane. Those were crazy times, man. Leave a comment if you were here for those times. If you were in the plant community around 2019 to 2021. Anyway, yeah, so I imported this little tiny baby Thai constellation. I believe it was from Thailand. Did an unboxing. I was so excited, over the moon. My 6-year-old was like 6 months old or something. I remember crawling around on the floor in that video, in that unboxing. So it didn't have any fenestrations, just tiny little heart-shaped leaves. I was so overjoyed, y'all. Anywho, so here he is now. My cats knocked him over last year and he got decapitated. So I had to reroot him. I did finally put him back in soil, but he was in moss up until not too long ago, and it broke several of his leaves. Like this leaf right here was one that stayed around, but you can see it's like messed up. But I've always heard that Thai constellations are like notorious for root rot. I have never had that issue. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. I've never had that issue. Awesome plant. Thai constellations aren't like super fast growers, but he's a steady grower. He doesn't grow super fast, but it's steady. And so every time I see a new leaf coming in, it's just like an exciting thing because he doesn't do it that often. It's like every probably 6 to 8 weeks, he gives me a new leaf during the growing season. And sometimes through the winter, fall and winter, he may take off, 2 or 3 months, but he still looks beautiful, rarely ever loses leaves. I was so excited and ecstatic whenever this guy gave me his first fenestrated leaf. I love it so much. I am so, so proud that I've had it this long and just where we started versus now. So yes, he is very special to me. Here is his newest leaf. He's not really getting enough light, I don't think. I think I'm gonna have to move him. This has kind of been an issue with some of my larger plants, finding places for them where they fit, that they're getting plenty of light. I think I'm gonna have to put up some of my other strip lights, like on the wall or ceiling potentially, for some of these guys, because they're just getting too big, but like I love it at the same time, So we figure it out. We'll figure it out. I feel like I'm squishing my little begonia back here. I'm sorry, buddy. Isn't he lovely? Love him so very much. My pride and joy. Oh, he's just perfect. Every single leaf is so perfect, I swear. And then back here is my second Thai constellation. I only got this one because I found him at Walmart for like $25, I think maybe $30. Look at his new leaf. He just gave me a new leaf as well, and he is beautiful. All right. Now for the fun part. Let's get up. I'm gonna get behind the camera and we're gonna go look at my big boys. Yeah, we're gonna go look at some plants over there that have been with me for quite a long time. Yeah, let's go. You guys, I feel like the lighting's not great. Okay, it's hard to show these big ones. This is another one of my pride and joys, and I want to go ahead and show him and give an update because I do fear I'm gonna have to chop him soon. I don't want to. This is Philodendron Jose Bueno. This was an import from Green Spaces ID. And I know this was in 2020 because they came like 4 days or something, maybe 3 days before I went into labor with my youngest daughter, which is 5. So she was born in March 2020. Yeah, so 5 years with me, a little over, and this is him. I love this plant. I mean, he had some big, nice leaves whenever I got the import, and I had gotten like several plants in that package, but he wasn't tall, he was pot size. This is his new leaf. I just went ahead and sprayed him down a little bit because he gets dusty as well. And I have this pot here because he will literally topple over. Otherwise, I have to get him up potted soon in something much taller and deeper. But I also do think that I'm going to have to chop him. As much as I don't want to, I love this guy so much. He is such a fast grower. Okay, he grows like you would not believe. I mean, it's crazy. The new leaf usually doesn't even like harden off before it's got another one out ready to unfurl. So he's fantastic. He is totally light dependent. The thing with Jose Bueno, it'll put out the most beautiful variegation, and this variegation is very bright and creamy when it first comes out. for like a while, I would say, for a few months. And then as time goes on, the variegation does kind of fade to this like light green color, I guess you could say. But I don't care. I love this plant, and the new leaves are just phenomenal. Wait till I show you, if I haven't already, some of the photos of him when he was smaller and he was getting really bright light. Um, just the variegation was breathtaking. So, yeah, my hope is that if I get him cut back and I take the cutting and I'm able to put it like directly, not directly, but pretty close under a bright light, that I can get it to start producing that really thick, chunky, like sectorial creamy variegation again. But it doesn't matter because I love this plant. I mean, he's just everything to me. He is so easy. He is not really disturbed by pests. He does get spider mites here and there, but they just really don't affect him. He's super tough. It's a very hardy philodendron. The variegation is very stable. Like I said, when I've had him in lower lighting, he did get burnt by a grow light there. He turned almost all green. He kind of stopped producing variegation. Like down here, you can see on these leaves, they're pretty much all green. He pretty much stopped producing variegation, and then the moment I popped him back into brighter light, he was pushing it again. So he's huge, he's massive, he is fantastic, and he will always be a favorite. So there's Jose Bueno. I moved him out of the way, but I'm really afraid he's gonna fall over. I gotta chop him right there. Okay, my Philodendron Giganteum, okay, I found it. I got him in summer of 2021, July. So right at 4 years, Philodendron Giganteum. Yeah, he has sized up significantly, but I'm not gonna lie to you, my Giganteums, which we're about to see my variegated one, who I grew from a little tiny guy, and I got it only a couple months after this one, they have been a bit neglected because they are just so hard to get to, and I've had plants in front of them. They are. So I think I'm going to chop them back. But like I said, I really wanted to document them first and their progress before I go and do that. So I love the green giganteum. I love the ripple around the leaf. The new leaves on these are just stunning. Absolutely stunning. He put this one out, I don't know, I guess 3 weeks ago maybe. It's just recently hardened off actually. So I do need to clean him up. I do. Look at that. Look at that. Down here, this is where we're having issues. Everything is just completely drooped down. I need to I don't know. This is why I've veered away from climbing plants, climbing aeroids like philodendron, because they do just get so big and they keep going and going and going, and it's just so hard to keep moss poles and extensions in these plants and be able to keep them standing upright and from flopping over, and to be able to keep them under enough light. They're really difficult. So as much as I love them, I don't tend to buy them anymore for this reason, and I just try to do my best with the ones that I have, you know. So we've got a couple it's like 3 dead leaves that I am going to go ahead and remove. Yeah, he's going straight to the shower when we're done here. Oh, this is like a little plantlet that has come off of it down here, causing all this chaos. Anyway, this is him. It's still impressive how much he's grown, all right, and how massive these plants can get. And he just keeps it going and going and going. So really proud of this guy. 4 years together, you know, he's been good to me. And this one I'm really upset about because it just doesn't look anything like how it should or how it did when I got it from, I believe, Aeroid Market, again, 4 years ago. It was little and it was highly variegated and it was so pretty. And so it's lost majority of that variegation. I've just found with giganteums, they tend to do this when they get to a certain size. They get really droopy. I've been talking about this since I've had them for like within the first 6 months to a year of growing them. The leaves are kind of thin and they just droop so easily. However, this was the last newest leaf before this one, and it does have some really pretty variegation. So I'm thinking about chopping this one as well. This leaf doesn't really have any. Thinking about chopping this one like around, I don't know, maybe right here. What do we think? Right here, maybe? And starting it over as well. I think it's time. You know, I mean, look at it. I was shocked that I didn't know the Giganteum came that highly variegated. It was beautiful. So, you know, he has been on the back of that shelf behind my Albo and my Joepii, just neglected. But that is him. He's okay. This leaf just keeps catching my attention because it is so pretty. That one is really nice. I'm surprised it gave me such a nicely variegated leaf after all of this mess. But I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, and then over here, this is my Albo. So let's take a peek at when I got him. I got this plant. I wanted this Abo Monstera for so long, you guys, so long. And I got this in the fall of 2020, so we're going on 5 years ago. I got it for free, kind of. So I got it in a plant swap from a Facebook group. What did I trade? I traded 2 cuttings of my Philodendron Splendid. I got it as a 2-leaf top cutting, no roots. He took it fresh just for me. I sent him 2 cuttings of my Splendid in the mail, and he sent me this little precious 2-leaf cutting of the Albo. It had no fenestrations at all, and it was adorable. He sent it to me. I had heard that they are easy to rot as well, and so I was quite nervous, but it worked out. I put it in moss, it rooted up, it started to grow, and it was a lot bigger than this and more highly variegated. So I chopped it up. I chopped it all the way back, actually, and it had shot off a new growth point from the base, and it's given me all this growth just in a few months. But the pieces that I chopped were highly variegated. They're really white and chunky, sectorial. This growth coming in isn't nearly as variegated, obviously, but it was huge. I've got a piece in moss in my grow cabinet with some good white variegation. And then I also have a piece right here. And then I also sent a piece, a top cutting to Sarah last year, I believe. So I have shared the love a bit. I need to get this one out of water. It's rooted fully. I need to go ahead and pot it back up, honestly. But it has really nice variegation. Yeah, but this portion just isn't the most variegated, but that's all right because the other pieces I have off of it are. So yeah, this was just an entirely new little plantlet that it pushed off, and I just kind of left it in the pot. You can see it started out with no fenestrations, just as a little pup. And recently, this is the newest leaf here. It hasn't hardened yet. You can see we have fenestrations now. So awesome. Love it. Very proud of this one as well, y'all, because got it in a Facebook plant swap from a stranger, grew it from a 2-leaf unrooted cutting. Okay, that part is important. And I'm just, yeah, I love it so much. Well, back there is actually my OG painted lady. The other one I was pointing at isn't the original. This is my original one right here, and it's not looking the best. Just, it's really not. I need to do something, all right? And then let's see. Okay, so we move over here, and we have another one of my pride and joys. I have had, this is one I couldn't find, like the exact date of when I got it. This is my Philodendron Florida Ghost, but I grew it from way down here, just a couple leaves sticking off of it. It was beautiful. It's really done most of this growth over the last like year. It just has popped off over the last year. I don't know. But look, we need an extension again because look what he's doing. Look at this. Not even kidding. All of these plants need to get a good chop. It's like the perfect time of year to do so. I've got moss, put them into moss. The Florida Ghost is also highly light dependent. The ghostiness is very much so light dependent. So yeah, if you put it in higher light, you can get completely white leaves. I've done this. I've tested it over the years many times and gotten solid white leaves on this plant. This is nothing compared to what you can get on it. Here's a pretty good example, but even that one's pretty minty. Anyway, yeah. And if you put it in like really low light, you're gonna get green leaves and it's just gonna look like a regular Philodendron Florida. But there is the newest leaf, and you know, these leaves are still a pretty good size. It's constantly putting out new leaves. It is crazy. They're still a pretty good size, but if it was On a pole, they would be massive at this point. He's beautiful. I love him so much. Again, I gotta cut him because he's overgrown and he's crazy and he's wild and just a mess, but that's okay because we love him anyway. Here, up here is the white butterfly Singonium. This was like my first ever Singonium in 2018, I believe I got this. And it was so full and bushy and white and pretty. And now it doesn't even look like the same plant. It doesn't even look like a white butterfly, does it? So I'm gonna go ahead and just like snip this right here, probably this evening, honestly, and stick it in some water, throw the rest of it out, the dirt out, and restart it because it's looked like this for a long time. It's been struggling for a long time. It's been, going without water for long periods of time, and I think that's the issue. So the roots are probably done for anyway. If I go ahead and cut it and put it in water, it can rehydrate, reroot, start growing, be good to go. But he's an OG. Oh, down here also is my Cebu Blue, who looks like it needs a water. It can go in the shower too, honestly, that I have had since 2019, beginning of 2019, I believe. I did buy it in a big hanging basket. It's been big all of its life. I cut it back probably 6 months ago, maybe, because it had runners just going everywhere and I had to. So I chopped it up significantly and it's already growing back to a trailing plant again, which is insane to me. Oh, and then we have my goldfish plant. I grew from a little tiny guy. Shine some spotlight on him, maybe. Yeah, he lives here with these grow lights, so all of his growth is super sun stressed and beautiful. This plant usually blooms really, really frequently, but since I've moved it in this spot, it's growing like absolute mad, but it hasn't flowered since I moved it here. So don't know what's going on with that, but the growth is beautiful, so I'll take it. All right, we're all done. We're finishing up, but before we go, I have to show you one more small one that I almost forgot about. This is a little Pepperomia columla. I go ahead and put the photos on the screen. I only have had this for around 10 months, we'll say a year. I've had it for a year, and it was only 3 stalks when I got it. Okay, my husband just got home from work, and my kids are coming in from outside. This was only 3 stalks when I got it, straight up and down, just a little thing, and I said, I love this plant so much. Like, it's so funky, it's so different. It does not look like a peperomia. It's quirky, it's small, and it's going to stay small no matter how much it grows. All the things that I said, and I was pretty accurate with that assumption. So the foreshadowing, right? Look at him now, because this plant has grown so much in the last year from those 3 little bean stalks. Look at this. And even still, he's in the same pot that I initially potted him in. He doesn't really take up any more space. This is why I love peperomias so much. And he's huge. For him, like, this is so much growth. This is so much growth. And he lives in my kitchen window. I love it so much. Peperomias are so awesome. He just gets like clusters. This one's really impressive for only 10 months of growth, I gotta say. Okay, that is it for part 2 of Where Are They Now? Let me know if there's any plants that you think of that you would like to see, if you remember. And I guess I'll let you know if I still have them or not. Yeah. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and leave me a comment down below. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you again soon in my next video. Bye!